Uni umuade na uni ani die so na ma ne ho ne akonya oguni ho kofo anima me royal of Sankwas me new penny ne di akonya na nansia no film na
okay
Debra
okay
Kesben 92.9
what Sankwas ase media metia menye Sankwas ya teteme mako primary school akonfansepem edi library prefect ako KNUST at that time they friend UST ako civil engineering mewie aye me postgraduate wa Bruchere University of Surrey or Guildford in distinction ho me nya brofo mitwa won ma bo me bra aye press secretary to the president man famensa ankari. I've worked on big projects. Simtogo, the counterparts of Gasem, consulting Mao, Gasem, ball mill, a water academy company, construct consult. Uko Obuasi, Kwakoto, Tiny Roland Estate, near friend of Precious Field. We were the project engineers, 1993-1995, 150 units senior staff housing delivered within budget and on time. Na ubijina kasa hase me say Sankwas me menye Sankwas this umuni ho a edi ebuye ho. You may have your disagreements but so we penimu yo hene na ubijina abonten kasa sade. I think he's not someone who deserves say yeah campaigning na and some kafa mampeni akufado na mu se papa emso nintete. You may disagree with the president, but there are certain words to say they will use to Sankwas that you should not use. And that's why I didn't even want to watch it because I knew it was him.
Okay.
It was minimal the crunch of person who go any masses. And officer yes here no academy. Na onim de besi organa.
Kesben 92.9. The Piazzi.
He calls himself the headmaster of those who have suffered in the MPP. Meaning the entire the headmaster of those who have suffered in the MPP.
Oh, certainly the Okoye campaign. Well, Mr. Party for Mbusa question. Now, I say, and I'm saying, so open what brepa Okoye. I don't know how bad for it. I age my ding. If it's a duba in breast, this in the general secretary. Action a bosso. Can I say them from field doer? And they are no one anyway. It is a million hours of my bra, my headmaster enemy. And they can't because
that is interesting.
In politics, you have to add a little bit of humor.
Sure. Yeah, that's it, sir. Your fellow, your two fellow, Waba. He didn't come up after a year campaign when so far they are calling their bringing. But clearly, my main sense with a school, because school some they who a year. Yeah, sure, sir. Okwa probably na time can kind a shed the coso and all that. What's the result in a buy? And in Naya Jatu say, and your papa. Omampeni ko doha na nsia ko ka se ade no anko yie but of course say eye fitiasie no na enema entumi nko yie e bi so attribute to social media e bi attribute to eye the yamma eye teachers no sa emma no to that power to really deal with students and can say na net no entisa and all the business school structure and ankasa education structure and ankasa na enye. To you, which one do you think is the problem when it comes to Isuku Sama resource and to say eba?
Ghana ati ba kwa hai nse tembia yentimi emfa asem NCP enka hono kre sa akukudru na yentenya especially your technocrats ni nyina ka ho na ne ebedru ba bi ebedru ache 1983 a comeback after revolution bibi ba kwa na friend Rolling Chain man for ama onkum nkase no tie tudin Rolling Chain. It was after that and I buy no call IMF. Now one of the conditions IMF they attach to our economic recovery program was changing our school system. Indeed, I name it dead and say, most studio, my can be many times. So, when you could point my drum, na MPP 40 Masetro Abama Menagana Fushraso. We have to sit with the stakeholders in the educational system and go back to what we used to know. Because yes, we are a common entrance. We didn't fear 11, 12. Which is a free fear. We go secondary school. We go from one. We are young. We young form habits no bibia. We go to seniors be or more for what you say. Or sixth form. Be the 20, be the 19, be the 18. Those days, we go to form 2. A conference from one court, go from 2 courts. That's all boko. The training. So you cannot barge into somebody's presence.
92.9.
Discipline. That time, remember the beer, your inspection. The way I would dress here, teach me I would do the neatest person on campus. Your beer will trunk him, the way I wash his hair, won't tarry. It prepares you for life. Decency, civility, respect, discipline. Intermediate school system now on the back of economic recovery, so-called, up to now, you recover. Yes, it's educational system. Meanwhile, the main subject of this GSS said to be able to increase middle level technicians near day. And also,
yeah, the GSS,
yes, it's supposed to be labs, practical. Because yeah, conference, woodwork. It is a carpentry, metal work. Courses away, technical drawing. So
technical skills.
That's right. And also me because now me person me engineering. So drawing, design, so. Sa educational system na yesen yem pese ka hono kre admit it just because of politics say PNDC na de buy our NDC intino we find it difficult to admit say it has failed us. Those days we be from 5 no the best 17 and 18 in those days na army police no mo fa officer call we be from 5.
Okay,
yes nipa pit me be from 5 no a full blown man. Because by the time I go 5 years, and son or what by 6th form. Now, person to university, wako university. Into the educational system, the net, and they started say yes, and may blame academia because professor Nadine was it Jangma? There are a lot of professors. No more. Who say adi emwa and so who any eye service adi a Ghana this is say obi be president unye tumi na nipa akutwa ne ho hia de bia metu omodi enablers Ghanaians who enable people to walk the wrong route nipa no ya adi na nye edi eni die behwe nanim ne asre na kase opani bi akemfa ne se yenze yenkada yodium yes siko fancy it has become an industry in this country. Nipa jijin krofoso ema omusei na say na meko union station back say na kwabra we busu afo no nkuntoka nam say so de say kwa bem wan ko piska nam say e kwa bem say ko piska e kwa bem say ko so that orientation na abeshe enipa bitrim a ene eyaka enkola na frechiri eba no. We need to have a reorientation, a recalibration. Yense san ya dwen enyisa suban no infriity se eno answer san economic recovery program ye ni bebre FinSap, one structural adjustment, SAP 1, SAP 2, SAP 3, HIPIC, then we are where we are. Because in Ukraine, ACED, all what you had mentioned, it boils down to systemic failure.
Okay.
I headed towards as a country in all facets of our life. Because in Ukraine, ira, and greed, a man for the food, and the enim. Now, more media, no so fourth estate of the realm.
Kesben 92.
Come on, is a on mine. And so we have been brought along, depending on which government is in power. Near vote to secretary near the ama, and then Matisse presidency 75 million government spokesperson. How this is can hear it? Say you man my ebida. Press secretary to president for 6 years. The chief of staff or that yes. Honorable Kojompieni. Mumusa no say scarcely no de man me say mfanye say juma. Manyimu tekuse. Because I believe say you should be able to serve with distinction and feel a sense of fulfillment. Nyesika o man yama sika edi nti bibia say na yempese yebeka no krai.
Take about the running office no na.
The office now, the office my running for 6 years. Say nyesika wo de kwoshishe journalists nim krofo afun so o mo report favorably mawa. You don't need that much money. Very little money to run the transport department. Say moko baby krofo be di machi nim me ade. E tu kwa na di for kwa no nya wo na wo spokesperson na chief of staff ejuma. Anyway, and no they just by the by. But education na make am.
Yeah.
E ade a e hadwen. To the extent say Ghana hayete ha. Ye pe edin sisa. Ye wo polytechnics. Eno de e building and sanu ejuma. Middle level technical labor. Omo ne be retooling factories. Maintaining your factories near roads near BBI. I build a strong maintenance culture. For some strange reason. That's why we are friend of technical universities. One, at the more cost on the public treasury. Because instead of a rector, now you have a vice chancellor. And Legona will bear 80,000. And Nancy Tech will bear 80,000. Large university. The vice chancellor. And the Ubiwo. Kufurudia Technical University, they are collecting the same salary. Why? I don't know. Person higher or Musa.
I think one of the issues on Muizi has to do is you don't mind your polytechnic no. I am a university for no at university polytechnic. They almost say as a young now we are not at par. It's if we also make it a university,
MIT.
It helps.
MIT?
Yes, MIT.
Honestly, as I said, the Natural University, Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Yes.
And so it's one of the best in the world. Yeah, there are a lot of technical schools, the world bridge, they are top at their work. Germany, a lot of technical universities. Say na ene uko the oti political science lecturer from Kumasi Technical University. Now the political science they compare there. I'm telling you. School tech. The focus has to be on science and technology.
Yes.
University of Science and Technology. And then they graduate more law students. And just say we've lost our way as a country. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Okay.
We've completely lost our way.
Okay.
And we need a new type of leadership, dedicated, firm, and strong. Obetime taking the difficult decisions. That is why I was expecting President Mahama. Who there? Where the meals there 6 months? Where do you there 4 years? Ghana for some fraud the force and be pew so. This is the time, the biggest opportunity. Senka, would you be taking the most difficult decision?
And you're not taking that.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I mean, for
the past 1 year, yes, your analysis of the first past 1 year.
You will be remembered for removing the Chief Justice. That is the most significant thing, in my view, he has done. And the judiciary is one of the legs of the 3 legs of the go around in circles and in circles. The buck stops at the desk of the president. The idea to eliminate the you can say hwinim enko timi busa say ne chief justice no or ye den a grave enough say ibeji no
Casman 92.9
or even one say okoji sika bi no judgment bi ankoye ana den ne see flimsy excuses nti o man no Clinton was it Clinton Obama ne ba kruma no ka say let's build strong institutions not personalities say yen nyina as politicians ekoye say we aye mesumi ba meye bi President Akufo-Addo remove electoral commission
Charlotte
man tears that personally and I think I even mentioned it there was no need maybe I know why a grave against the main focus of the chair of an electoral commission is to run elections. That is your main focus, not procurement. Procurement is a side issue. No crano. Send papa mua, and if there's proper governance structures in this country, electoral commission head, you just may have to sign off with procurement. You would now get involved to the extent say assembly bit me about one month for bit me issue. No, it didn't no. Say you see a fum kuma, you fum enja. Because no near to about or say declare as president. So them children. Can you continue? Can be you haka? As a ejem. Nanso so. The politics away you crum ha and Crawford stridently divided. As a waging opposition, ye tata we are tiaba power there, nebinu faso yenino ehun faso ben enu na akosete president we muso elba omo kan so mbe chief justice omo kan ana omo kan mbe chief justice na electoral commission so must start the same route na wo ho anan kofu be ko generate your friend say petitions hwinim a whole council of state nipa 30 say Mami Sufaya and a decent because the intimate cannot cray. Intimation pedifo and council debi penny with the enforcer. Just because you are so political, we should forget.
Okay.
Say president no nya appoint to. Yes, a president na appoint to. Then so you have a duty to the state of Ghana, not to a political party's whims and caprices.
Okay.
So with them education no hard journey.
Okay.
And near P. Koso, me say the issue of say the Ghana Sika koto past papers during your time.
Yeah, Pascal.
I wasn't part of government, but I mean I couldn't even believe it.
You didn't believe it?
Why? Past question. In your time, I said, wow, compare past questions. Now what the I practice? A buying befa, a buying Sika. Say I koto past questions. Say in Chema student. What kind of thing is that? So, a lot of mistakes were made in the past. Now Ghana had a high and say, you feel say because of political expediency, they are creating new politicians. Say MPP are in MPP near Menka. There are certain things that there are certain red lines you shouldn't cross because you have to be loyal to your tradition. But and you may be is publicly. And not the and Chese Unye Patriot. We tried them at the same studio na June 2022. Say na previous post now. Na economy na started. It was beginning to spiral out of control. Na mbetnak sre mampeni. Say media me no kasa jimidi. The etwam nyina etwam 2015 sense me buyer me feel say na hu here. Nanso so media 1997 na me bow office Kojo Thompson Road catch us we beat me the president Kwabena is that so we defeat Kufuor we can I'm say yes we ji udi nyene inti me ka asema kire wa ti na omo era na economy no omo be go mas And that's what it is.
Is that the same thing, oh Papa, right, John Ejekunku for Kanana? Because then clearly, and also be named maybe to talk on of course, and also Indian
he said that in the interview.
Okay. So, I mean, he mentioned most of the things as the cathedral, and Nankomusi, no, say private. I feel we are saying, I feel, DD, EP, AD, and no answer than PDS, one tier that. Says I'm now by I mean only my mama says here but my mama is also
no, don't worry. The American say me no cry me can woman say me papa no nim city am me no cry back. I would have expected at the time not publicly. We are penny. You were the president when you employed all of us. I mean, your press secretary, President Akufo, no foreign minister. Nothing stopped you from calling him. Say Nana. Say. A friend on Wama is different. So Tunufunu Entia is different. But I think this was delay or hard drink. So meaning is the main thing.
No, obviously.
I'll call for some personality in the lead up to 87. And media for Odiagra, so until on the media for the sensational. And on the trouble thing. Oh, I feel say yes, and maybe uncle ye. Can you be TSM? I was the first to say, look, writer should stand down, you should do the president a favor. The lady back on a program, that was in June 2022. Man for so man be business confidence is very critical in economic management. And to say if you are the manager of the economy, especially for someone who had been a participant, because now you were in that industry, already the decision to appoint you, it didn't sit well with a lot of people who were your competitors in the economic field. Do you withdraw her? Now we are one or two near maybe. To say, I mean, the issues of bonds, government bonds, some of companies linked to you are doing the book running. No signing money, a conflict of interest situation, and people then feel uncomfortable. And once confidence drains with economics, that's it. And you're quantifiable.
Has it hurt the MPP?
Very much so. At that time, the dollar was 7. The video is still there, right in the studio. The president should act. Now me, I would speak up because I'm a patriot of the MPP. I don't want our chances of victory in 2024 to be endangered. And I spoke up. 6 months down the line, and 90 MPs.
Sorry.
I spoke up much earlier. And it made me feel say, where we are as a country, we have to learn to critique things. And that's why I expect some people in the NDC to critique President Mahama. The move to remove the Chief Justice completely unnecessary. It has damaged his legacy.
Really?
Of course.
Stabilizing CD amount.
You call this CD stable? I don't think we should be spending more than 5 cedis to $1. A country that produces this amount of gold and cocoa.
I mean, gold, looking at gold boards, doing all the work.
That was a good move. But it doesn't stop the fact that he has failed to put a stop to the degradation of our water bodies, our forests, and all the things that are happening with illegal mining. Now, maybe a hammy who can be BCC about DC.
Yes. Asante Chambiano.
Yes. So, are we saying the chief of staff was not aware? In Ghana, we have to hold people responsible. That's wrong with them, children. And then what really happened? Is it that vehicle on demand, what really happened? Because I don't believe it's quite cheapy.
Definitely.
So what happened? Maybe there was some bureaucratic in Ghana. Because it was close to the election. By the time you lose aye bibi Ghana susu de when propaganda ne politics mami abegina na o keke nsemo a Say be emphata. Why win here? Why win here? You don't have to be outwardly political about it. It doesn't matter. So we NDC ni, so we MPP ni. Why win here? We are there ni dia mao. Esi di mao. So the DC running problems of face here. I'm not going to hold brief.
Sure.
Some of them show. But yeah, you're careful because it was very close to an election.
I agree.
I'm very clear. Say beer na in Siho. The beer na funds beer say the brain and all the toddy man. So them
because our fans na they are
the same. Say the same thing.
Yeah.
So until Ghana hano ye percent BBC san the way you say nipa what I call slash and ban politics. Yen cancer fingu so yen sell yen mu enumasi. So until Nieman Boa is very careful in what we do. What we have to do is say Timidiansa to a Coco Society Ghana for. We are patriots of our country. Yeah, party crowd and a very new patriotic party. In penny phone of Junior or mine here. I say who here. Timidi, I want to be an advocate for what is good for our country. Say Ghana for be kaimi de be se miniwa. Politician be by on the Nigerian so person fighting near the right thing.
That's good.
Say no nam so near beto aba mamia me de nyamiase. Meka no kre no many party for ka say omo nim de meka kire o. Say to me no omo sem na o. Omo disikechi. Omo anhwe ni party true a na dwen mabo bill wasum ko no onim ko na bakosem nti omo bre say dem ka say me omo headmaster. Omo bre me so ma bre bi ti musuma me a me remfi mo bre na ni hia se me ya mama obi beka oman no ni Ghana nyina si ye no eno nti na menam ti na de meda wase se enye easy ye go round di sikasem ti untimi hia nipa ni nyina
me beba na fi edi nkomo no pa
se dodo no e team especially Greater Accra
yes
executives amenti me hia on time am call round omunti na omun nipa ban am ye na edru 31st don't say I see
definitely
go for 2000 so pabi eba MPP oh that's you and on the back of no get so that's you we high five now
say engineer Kwabena Agyapong you know Edin common aspiring presidential candidate of the MPP in the common member now for you right deep into any campaign or call a voter region western north half or maybe I mean I think maybe that this will be the second or third month or call and all that but you might be this uncommon is Mukaila Jones said the inside Kerry or say special regards to engineer Kwabena Agyapong. In fact his admissions are deep and worth emulation. No wonder he will surely lead the MPP into victory. So does the NDC ever ponder on the fact that one day the table will turn pending appeal at Supreme Court of stay of execution regarding Panda constituency rerun while Parliament notified the EC for a vacant position? John Mahama should know that his hypocrisy will soon be exposed and we shall all see his pretentious act. My appeal to the rank and file of the MPP supporters is to criticize the NDC utterances so far rather than accepting all effort in our internal elections. We if you Mukaila Jonas Edia inside Kerry and Odi Ebaye 37 minutes past the hour of 8 a.m. I keep watching it and it is exciting. It moves me a lot. Na yending komo yehwe na wo so wutie radio 92.9 no obete the echo any the bengina on Facebook Kesman 92.9 wo so behu the making yehwe adewe na yemra baxis ya.
Continue to do the same things and expect different results. We need a pair of clean hands, a clear mind, a compassionate heart to lead our nation and our party. I, Kwabena Agyapong, stand ready to work with you, ready to unite our ranks, ready to rebuild, ready to restore hope for our party and every Ghanaian.
This is not a dream. And by the grace of God, I have the courage, the confidence, the compassion, and the moral fortitude to lead this renewal. All my life, through thick and thin, through some of the very painful moments that have redefined the very framework of our democratic journey, I've lived for three things: to understand people, to love people, and to genuinely help people. I've always remained loyal to the elephant because Because for me, politics is not about self, it's about collective welfare. I'm very glad to proclaim that I have an unblemished record. I have good relations with every leader of this party you can think of. I'm the bridge between our founding fathers and the future of our party. You, the delegates, hold the power to decide whether the NPP rises again as a beacon of hope for Ghana or sinks further into disunity and despair.
Okay, so 39, almost 40 minutes into 8 a.m. Kesben 92.9 so Kesben TV. Engineer, I don't want to watch that. It motivates me, moves me. I mean, the way of the passion, or the kasa and all that. Campaign, kosei.
Nyamiadum, yeguso, heading. But, you know, to say them catch on moving around the country was very stressful. Say delegates no does. Constituency BT say well constituency was for central. They have about 1,500 delegates. We see
Kesben 92.9.
Ubia ba wanima ya na say opese oboa na transport kakra. Hapo di krum na se bia wako ba bi te se Kintampo. Nipa no be free na fu madru Kintampo. Capital no crowd. Be or travel 40 kilometers. And now come krum drop on so come wait to a front place. And so no be do drop on so. O free o ben table border no so. O ntia na edani bi o ankona fu mu pese bibi kakra. A token. You can't pay one more time no more the amount. Tibia man 100 cedis class over there. Ukwa fatu lorry car so and say fatu should be and no more crime. We understand say 150,000 no. One
yeah, I agree.
Multiply by 270.
That's huge.
It's a huge amount of money. Enough by guso. We cannot credit maka. But I'm doing my best. Namo nipa omu jimidi semi politics ehoti abuafo a omu buami kwampaso 200 no de ma 300 no de ma kakra kana okekambom neja onanti na oko nti mako a lot of the regions.
Okay.
Next week hopefully say eko Bunu East nanka ye dia to afa northern.
Okay.
Let's just say etimia ko wie boga ni one. But that's over 100 constituencies.
That's huge.
Uboka kra 30,000 and 40,000 per constituency kra multiply her. Nti iniska edafo. Nti ya na ye besre ye party for no. Ebinomo aye a bit. What's the word I'm trying to search for? Say
Kesben 92.9. The Piati.
You are a coin be as soon as in says so when you need who are made tea asema okano. Who the other one?
I don't know.
And yet no cray air back up. Me kunyina me 2 months. Say o mine dachi. And I see myself as a bridge between the past and now, and as a hope for the future generations. Because we didn't me now me wo time yes back democracy. Nti ebra Ghana for bre no mine bre under military rule 11 years. Yeah, bad democratic government. Yeah, transition in 2000 to Mampeni Kufo ebesine. Enyasem kitwa enti minya opportunity am pese me kan kola na enne o ma ba wiase because we share statistics over 65% below the age of 40 years. Tiniema ye fa mu no o ma hu bi ese ebo om kokko no mu hu se we've walked a very difficult journey into a democracy no ese kura no se kusua na say ni memu ye de kakra nkola ni bi na ku ohun de kesi obenin the SEO Guinea Bissau, the SEO Togo, the war Burkina Faso, the war Cote d'Ivoire, and you may be Kukoso. We should not take our democracy for granted. Na empenimfu edi enimu so nye kasa keke, but by deed. Enema yebeye is not just by word of mouth. Nenso so we have to lead by example. Na yeshishe niema pa. Na amagana fo anko jedi ti se de ne dodo no agidi se da be uko aban mu a na politics ne de. Eche se eyedidi. Obi can say no contribution, no chop. Nti uko aban mu a which has a chopping mentality. I want to repeat it here. Sad chopping mentality should be wiped away from our lexicon. And we should know, say we go into government to serve. Yokoson kutu mwache media mayebida. Nyankopon bo ami amampeni kufo bedi president. Mami yene press secretary for close to 6 years. Press secretary, you are the face and the voice of the presidency. And you might therefore. So, we consume until the same kuchisi abayan sase. And now me kusisi apartments. Now to fee no money at the debit. Yeah, quite bem cry. Now my yeme juma as civil engineer. Esimidan was East Legon in 1999. Enti that time no whole room. And you know because the National Security Coordinator, Mr. Francis Buku. Yeah. Me metra cantonments. The Marco head I am me next door to GIS and then also see a yikaka bi o. Yes. Me see the metra the Nyankopon e the ama mesam ani fifre. E kwan wa de and so I had the discipline to wake up every morning. My nyusu motor riders so da ade ba kon e me tan kra wo Ghana ha. Se mpanimfo feel so omo de omo nya Ghana fo. Di say benya discipline e be sore no petututu. Na ya di traffic mne hu city Ghana for bre no oda bobe 9 pi ni pi no saying President Agyapong will put a stop to that immediately because mampeni ku for time only the vice president pe speaker la jete kra no ni entisa me am boss chief of staff kujompieni ono de obo office kwa bu note ono akanka abewu ahodi hu se wabapo. That humility that we need to show Ghanaians to lead them, for them to understand say you see you tighten your belt we tight our belts harder so that the Ghanaian people can have faith in us and endure austerities. You see you nchichiri mu a to say the me who say you see betu to dey betu to it was sa unholy contracts almost signed in 2014 2015 and this huge energy debt. It will be over 19 cents for a unit of electricity. The average on West Coast was about 8 or 9 because you see dun so abanti e prepare nan so nan krofo chobo ene niema shema yellow du shemu eno na abedi enimo ebesi na eka die so mostly from the energy sector. So on them John enti enima bi wo ha me mentiase. That's why I think if we are not careful we don't build the country well. Oma team, all state institutions are being overly politicized. So be wo konfanochi and I say kolebua all the politics for home. Of course, president, through Article 71, can appoint the head of it, but should exercise that responsibility with caution. So them sure no. Appointee will be a doctor for now. Almost a course school. Wow, I mean now call medicine. Call medicine. Into pharmacy, nurses. See, these are serious-minded people. I want to appoint somebody to lead them. Somebody who can earn their respect. Very important when presidents are making appointments. As I say, we are seeing everything through political lenses. How am I? My Canada in 2015 when I was General Secretary speaking to the NDC Congress, Kumasi. So for the foreseeable future, parties meaning NDC sata no no bem any MPP yena yebedi o minus nti yesu ne ye ban ye kasaye ende bema Ghana for enye gidi wo politics ayem na Kenya nkola no mabeso no man no ne koye insulting match said the ene ye hui ene se wano ye ya unkodi atem yese unye politician. I'm totally against that. So timi hu nipa ni bisa wo ye MPP ni me betran TV so mbese by the time I'm sorry na nkola ni bi edi 16 17 hu akasa papa yi ama me kwa do politics me kwa do MPP who the say you have to win souls for the party, not to drive away people with incendiary language, highfalutin language amounting to nothing. So enti media maker ama you say that is what I stand for.
Okay.
And I believe the country is ripe for a new dawn, a new era, a new direction. And I, Kwabena Agyapong, I represent that. Na nyama no keke na medeka. Tise me nya dibia kese da as press secretary to the president. Ma abuse me office. Until it can be done. Until sa year say na ko abemu na obusuanfo be house we nsi da wa say sa de no ye jin free okra. Na wi ase no nyina. Say manyini kakra. Na hu se beka no we nkon ofi mani ni no mu jamo ha
and correct
mu mrante mu antuti mu yenu mu ya asem we beto so enti you really don't need a lot because trebia me bora me man dem na mo ne mom digital home susa no no empty about 3 of the rooms we are living room ground ko we show TV am ko kitchen am ko bedroom 3 rooms that we use enti
tutu ka je so ntra ho kra
the me ka the last time e bro nya be na maka se me coffee power e ja wo position kwa so bia bra me sa
yeah Mr. But ayi ohini bi continue of very achim esum nana boede amponim obo dade the third edin komobi abrande eyesebi muamujina ewo MPP din as aspirant no ofremo Sankwas na minim
umuade na umunu na
minim
I saw him during the 2024 election.
Okay.
Such a human person.
Na fe yamba basisia.
Look, the MPP of Darocha, Sakiskek, Victor Owusu, Kofi Buzia, Professor Edubwahe, Alajete, J.A. Kufuor, those men of value, those men of integrity are not what we have today. I tell you without mincing words, the 5 people who are contesting, wanting to be flag bearers, are just Sankwas compared to those.
92.9.
I call them the Sankwas 5. If President Mahama should decide to contest.
Hey, so this is the Ohini I'm talking about.
Let's say more as the media. Nipa sano, mamo ventilation. Don't give them the plan because he's a disgrace to chieftaincy.
That's been 92.9.
Me royal of a mambo. Me a penny. Media kunyana na nsiano finana.
Okay.
Debra.
Okay.
Casper 92.9.
What is Sankwas I say? Media metia menye Sankwas o. Ya titimi. Mako primary school ako Mfansipin. Edi library prefect. Ako KN University at that time friend university. Ako civil engineering. Mewi. I am a postgraduate wa Bruche. University of Saudi distinction many abrofu mtwa mabo me bra I press secretary to the president man faminsa ankari I've worked on big projects uko Sintogo the counterparts of Gasemwa Koye consulting ma Gasem ball mill a water academy company consult uko Obuasi kwakoto tiny Roland estate near friend Precious Field. We were the project engineers 1993-1995 150 units senior staff housing delivered within budget and on time. Na ubijina kasa hase me say Sankwas me Sankwas this umuni ho a yedi ebuye ho. You may have your disagreements, but so we penny we hini na ubijina bonten kasa sa there. I think he's not someone who deserves to say 92.9 yeah campaigning na and some kafa mampeni Akufo-Addo na muse papa emse onintite. You may disagree with the president, but there are certain words to say they will use to Sankwas and you should not use. And that's why I didn't even want to watch it, because I knew it was him.
Okay.
It was a minimal the current of person who good any masses and official is here no academy. No him the base organa. Do be weni. Enti onya isa kasano. And what has that got to do with him? Is he a delegate? Is he a member of the MPP? Victor Usununi no. Omo mpenifo me no nyina me no manante omo bumi nti BJ Darocha the original document a party for sign ye e de koje provisional license that book no ansa no o sheda mame copy ni memoirs o sheda mame copy nti wunti image na television so nkase ye Sankwas me de menye Sankwas so mo dem nti sa na ma no ya ye besre mo ma ventilation to such incendiary language. So emfata then I also a chese o yo hen no nyini se oji di se odi hin papa bi ko be de o yen.
I say na final words to a delegates from you also be an ambako.
Yes, ibako
all right.
Is
okay. No push it on for. And I say Christmas, and one would know. And there's only you are crying about the straw with him. Go up a home to Gassi and Nadia. That's a going on in I'm not.
The Nabia Mabedu.
Oh, okay.
Because when your penny be D2075.
Oh, okay.
Former secretary to the president.
Oh, okay.
Ambassador DK or say.
Oh, yes.
Secretary.
Yeah.
75.
Oh, wonderful. So if I was to delegates, then I'll be
party for Meme campaign. The theme is going back to our roots, MPP. Sa enyemapa enidie ebu kasapa enuado ene nkambom eno ti na mede me ho asi ho na me can say because see ebe can cry in himself for the last few years things were economically tight so what can that change more as they say you join a pension squad no yes so you know sika kekan then so your party for ntie fansa so then so a yaw bi ebedi your party for ma over 2.1 million we should vote Akufo-Addo nyae in 2020 any dey ba nya a difference of over 2.5 million tie and say o mo na o mani anka so mo koto ma NDC na che say before ho nti here obi a obekanya o ombehu se omo bre no nipa no so onso wa bre te se o onim party no obekai o mo onim mama mu so and am jiri se many the only candidate many do one here adwuma many Kofo aye adwuma many Akufo-Addo aye adwuma mesa ne ba omia so aye adwuma nti upo bi obeka party na bom sebi oni obie ni asem ye koyemu and am jiri se mia because ombeka no kra delegates name omwo platforms no munim hita ekoso na nsem betiti social media echitafo no bi the way omo tamani
92.9
tisi e pe enkabomo na yenkoto ba chense esa ko sinko nyasa afina EBCC assembly mijidi se omo suma obi se Kwabena Agyapong makanda I'll be the glue to hold together the party and deliver victory in 2028. Okay. Intimacy omuntamechi.
Okay.
Echitapa.
Okay.
Kwampa mafaso dia sum party. yawa mafem amana mechi anchire party no da
Kesben
any
92.9
medidi aboa party me general secretary in the short 2 years that I said she said parliamentary primaries ma want is a pin crowd of home ni krediem ne kwampaso die ekoto aba inya 169 seats sa su ni ban no omon kai se me de o de adwuma hye me sa meye me kai nipa masum kuo ni soso nti asem kakra me de tuo mani nti mi chi na masem no so far baby a mekobia mfira call say ba say me kasakra ne bisu because they know say me I've given my all to this political tradition and our country Ghana. Tinyankopon show.
Yes, that's the pa Nyankopon show any addition knowledge our poor and amaye. I mean it's very deep and you know doing command sometimes we wish we don't stop. I mean people would want to hear more but nyamene hene mrepebuno e besa ba never be doing command.